growing, but lately, the last, let's say, 2 to 5 years, you see these kinds of projects are from growing from, let's say, a community project to really trying to produce food for consumption and maybe even for selling in the cities. There's an American company who's already putting up glass houses on top of large supermarkets. That's quite easy because they have a lot of flat roof and you can put up a lot of glass in there, and you can produce quite a lot of food in glass houses if you know how to do it, and you can maybe even sell, let's say, half of your vegetables that were grown on top of your roof. Another project just starting now in Rotterdam is, let's say, an urban farm which is going to be, tries to be fully commercial, so trying to live off the farm, which is within the, let's say, the ring edges of the city. And it's called Uit je eigen stad, so from your own city, food from your own city. And I think these guys have been starting last year, and they are already plowing now. They have quite a big piece of land where they can work for maybe 5 to 10 years. So they have a good chance of being some sort of a success, I suppose. And in that case, then slowly it will produce food. They also have connections with local restaurants where they will be, let's say, supply the food of if they are producing. And they have a good chance of being workable and viable, I suppose. But let's say all our consumption in the city is not enough for these kinds of projects. It's nice for restaurants and things like that, but what we eat is much, much more than what we can produce even on all the roofs of the city. Now the funny thing is that in the Netherlands, in between The Hague and Rotterdam, you have the Westland, the so-called glass city, which is an enormous high-tech agricultural glass house area. It's fully glazed, you could say, this whole area. It's really big. Even if your plane is quite high, approaching Amsterdam, you can quite easily see it glimmering in the distance. And here there is produced more than enough food to, let's say, feed the complete west of the Netherlands, if we wanted to. But in actual fact, they produce tomatoes and peppers and things like that there that go all over Europe and all over the world, actually. And the beans we eat is produced in Egypt, and the apples we eat are produced in Spain or even Africa nowadays by these companies that are situated here, because that's cheaper. So that even our famous Dutch flowers are mostly now produced in Africa, and they've flown in to Schiphol to the market here, so they can put the stamp flowers from Holland on it because they are sold here. But they are actually produced in Africa. So that's weird. And to tackle this problem and about food, maybe 10 years ago, MVRDV, which was not about vegetables, but it was about, let's say, pork, about pigs. Besides being one of the great main vegetable exporters, we are also one of the main pig exporters, pig meat. And maybe 10, 15 years ago, that they are all in the rural areas in the south, and they were producing quite a lot of problems because of the manure and the stench that they produced, because it's really a big industry. And one of the ideas was, well, okay, if we are exporting 80% of this production anyway, why not put these pigs in towers, in nice, let's say, condominium towers in the harbor itself, where they are actually ending up anyway. This idea was, although meant to just be as a, let's say, create an awareness of what was actually happening, it was quite controversial because it was so well worked out that it could actually be built. And lately they have revisited this project again, and now they are really serious now. So why not do it? Why not build this? Why, if you are wanting to eat this pig, why not, let's say, grow this pig food more or less next to the city and show it? And it can be done without stench now anymore. So this, you could say, if you really want to feed the city and get rid of this complex infrastructure and with all that is connected, at least some of the food production should be done on a large scale like this. Now maybe the more friendly